NFL preseason and playoff prediction podcast is here. Camiscioli for Philly Sports Talk here, along with Cade Gargano. Each going to give our record predictions, division by division, team by team, and that'll take us into our awards and then into the playoff bracket, which will be our playoff prediction podcast or playoff prediction segment, and we'll break down how we think the playoffs are going to roll. So, how you doing, Cade?
I'm great, Coy. We're here. We finally made it.
I know it's officially Monday, and that means it's football week, and that's all that matters. So college classes, none of that crap matters anymore. It's football time. So we'll just get right into it. We'll go NFC East, and then we'll go from there. Cade. So again, just gonna be pretty plain and simple, nothing crazy. I have the Giants coming in last place at 5-12, Cowboys in third at 9-8. Commanders at 10-7, and Eagles win the division at 13-4. Eagles kind of do have a tougher division this year. The Commanders 10-7. I think it's a fine ranking for them. I think the Cowboys could be somewhat of a threat to other teams and could compete in a lot of games. I think trading away Micah was a mistake, and then the Giants, they could compete in some games here. I think their defense is kind of legit, especially the defensive front, but the offense is a problem. So that's those are my NFC East rankings.
Yeah, to the listener, me and Coy do not share these before the podcast starts, but I have the same exact rankings. I have the Giants at 5-12, Cowboys 9-8, Commanders 10-7, Eagles 13-4. So I don't have too much to add. I agree with your Giants take. I mean, they just added Abdul Carter in the draft. Dexter Lawrence is great. The Commanders had a few lucky wins last year. The Hail Mary, as we know, the game against the Cowboys, but I think they're just going to progress. So I think 10-7 is fair, like you said. So not much to add in the NFC East.
All right. Well, then we each have Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants for the NFC East. Cade, start us off the NFC North. We'll keep going back and forth.
My NFC North prediction. This one was very tough. I had Bears at 8-9, finishing in fourth. Vikings at 9-8, finishing in third. Lions at 11-6, finishing in
Wow.
second, and the Packers at 12-5, finishing in first
Okay.
place.
Is the Parsons trade that much of a needle
I
mover
think
for
a
you?
combination between the Matthew Golden selection and the Micah Parsons, like those were their two biggest needs. I think that was really, really good work by their front office to get both of those done.
Yeah. Okay. Intrigued. I don't have them winning the division. I do have the Bears in last at 7-10, tied with the Vikings, who are in third at 7-10 as well. I'm not expecting. I'm expecting a decent drop off from the Vikings. Packers at 9-8. So I definitely have them a couple games lower than you. And then the Lions at 11-6. Obviously, the Lions, won like 15-2 last year. They lost literally like every coach imaginable that you could think of besides Dan Campbell. So I don't know. I see what you mean with the Packers. That could be an interesting take, and that would be something to do come out of that division. But Kate, I know we were busting some balls earlier with one of our friends who's a Vikings fan, and I truly believe this. I think it's more likely the Vikings come in last than in first. I want to know. I want you to voice your opinion on that.
I agree with you. I mean, roster wise, they're on par. I mean, with like the Ravens and the Eagles and the Bills, like they have a great roster, but the most important position on the field is the quarterback. And I'm not a big McCarthy fan at all. I think they might be closer to the Bears than they are the Lions.
Yeah, and that's where I have them.
I
I
just want
could
to touch
even.
on the Packers really fast too. If just they won 11 games last year, and Jordan Love got hurt week one, and I think they're a better squad now than they were last year. And they went 1-5 in division games as well, and they still won 11 games.
Yeah, they're an interesting team to watch. Especially with the Parsons deal because that really did do a lot for me. I'll talk about them later in this episode for sure. But Kate, back with the Bears for a second. I think the Bears are going to beat the Vikings week one on Monday night. I truly do. So, but we'll have to see.
I
So let's
think I agree with you.
yeah, they're on upset watch. We'll talk about it now. So let's get into the NFC South now. So, Cade, we had this real fast. The NFC North, we had this pretty much the same rankings, except for Lions and Packers switch. I had Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears. You had Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears. So, getting to the NFC South, this one has been the crappy division, the NFC, for a little while now. Since Tom Brady won the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, I have the Saints rounding out the division at 4-13, Panthers at 7-10. So I do expect to see maybe a slight step up for the Panthers. The Falcons at 8-9. I think they disappoint a little bit with Michael Penix this year, and the Buccaneers at 10-7, winning this cakewalk of a division.
Yeah, I have it in the same order, just slightly different slightly different records. I have the Saints at 4-13, Panthers at 6-11, Falcons at 9-8, and Bucks at 11-6.
So we were all within one game of each other on this division. Nothing more to point out in this. You know, I don't think either of those four teams are Super Bowl contenders, even the Buccaneers. So, all right, well, that's the NFC South. Cade, do you want to kick us off with the NFC West?
Yeah, this was a tough division for me because I think there's some good teams in here. I have the Cardinals finishing in fourth in the division at 8-9. I have the Seahawks at 10-7, the Rams at 11-6, and the 49ers in first place at 11-6.
Really? Okay. Not the 49ers part, but just how every team was pretty good in that division. I can see that. I'm not too far off from you, Kate. I'm a little bit different. I had the Seahawks rounded out at 7-10, so I think I'm a little more not as high on them as you. I had the Cardinals at 7-10 in third, and then I had the Niners and Rams tied at 10-7, but I had the Rams getting the tiebreaker, winning the division, coming in first place. So a little bit different there. We've talked off air about the 49ers' strength of schedule and how it's quite easy. I still just think that they're not that good. But obviously 10-7, I had them right there with some other teams. So and I do have them making the playoffs, but either or I could see the 49ers win this division. I just think their team has gotten a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, we both have them winning the same amount of games, the Rams and 49ers. It's just a matter of who
You
gets
had
that
them at 11,
tiebreaker.
right?
Yeah, I have them both at 11-6.
Yeah, I got 10
Um,
to
I
7. So I'm a game
I
less.
just get nervous with the Rams because the Stafford back injury. Like you
Yeah.
never know when that's going to hit and like what games maybe they lose down the stretch. And I'm pretty sure they play each other at the end of the season. Well, at least I think they do. But if they do and Stafford, is banged up, maybe the 49ers get the tiebreaker. That was just my way of thinking of splitting hairs between them.
Gotcha. I'm pulling up the Rams schedule real fast because I know the Eagles, they play like the Commanders week 16 and 18, something stupid. I'm not a fan of that. The Rams, they play the 49ers week 5 and week 10. So actually, they're a little earlier. I wish the Eagles kind of had that. Maybe like one game kind of midway through the season. But oh well, either or. So, Cade, before we get into the AFC, since we're sticking on the topic of the NFC, with our playoffs, let's just talk about the bracket for the NFC side and how it's set up. We don't talk about winners yet. With the Eagles at 13-4, I do have them getting the 1 seed in the NFC. The 2 seed, I had the Lions at 11-6. The 3 seed, I had the Rams at 10-7. The 4 seed, I had the Bucks. They obviously win their division at 10-7. The 5 seed are the Commanders at 10-7. So it'll be a rematch of Commanders Bucks in Tampa Bay, and the 5 seed versus 4 seed. The 6 seed, I had the Niners playing the Rams. So obviously a rematch for that division to make the divisional round. And then I do have the Packers earning the 7 seed for I think the third straight year facing the Lions. So that is how my bracket's set up. One more time for Eagles bye week, Rams Niners, Bucks Commanders, and the Lions Packers facing each other.
Yeah, so I also have the Eagles as my number 1 seed at 13-4. 2 seed will be the Packers at 12-5. Bucks 3 seed 11-6, and 49ers 4 seed at 11-6 as my division winners. 5 seed will be the Rams at 11-6. 6 seed will be Lions at 11-6, and 7 seed will be Commanders at 10-7. So the first round would be Bucks versus Lions as the 3 versus 6 seed. 2v7 will be Commanders versus Packers, and 4-5 seed is 49ers Rams.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the Lions take a hit like that. I think it's very possible. Again, I think we had the same record, 11-6. You may have had them in 10-7, regardless. So we'll get into our playoff predictions later on. We'll go with the AFC standings predictions first. Okay, we'll start with the AFC. So I'll lead us off here. I had the Bills winning this division. I don't think anything's new there. I think they go 12-5. I had the Patriots going 9-8. So kind of where their expectations are at of how good they could be this year. Maybe they could be even better, but that's where I think they could land. Dolphins at 7-10 and Jets at 6-11. Neither of those two teams do much for me.
I have the same order. I have Jets at 5-12, Dolphins at 8-9, Patriots at 10-7, so one more than you had them, one more win, and Bills at 13-4, one more win as well.
All right. So again, same order there. Cade leads off for the AFC North. Then this is a fun one.
Yeah, this is going to be a good division. My AFC North, I have Browns finishing in last at 14 or 4-13, Steelers in third at 9-8, Bengals in second at 10-7, and Ravens at 12-5.
Okay, so we're a little tad different here. So I had the Browns in last as well, 5-12. I actually had the Bengals at 9-8. I still think the defense is just terrible. I really do. So I think that they're going to be stuck around
So
9-8
you're going to have the
again.
Bengals missing the playoffs for 3 straight seasons.
Potentially. Depends. Nine and
Okay.
eight could get you in. But yeah, I don't no, it doesn't for me here though. So yes, I do. I do have the Steelers at 10-7. I think they'll find a way to win 10 games like they always do. And then I think the Ravens, I think they go 14-3. I think they're really good this year. I think they're going to earn the one seed in the AFC. I'll get more into that later, but that's my rankings for the North. So, what do you think the Steelers and Bengals switched up there?
Yeah, I the only reason I gave the Bengals kind of the benefit of the doubt is I don't see them missing the playoffs 3 straight seasons in a
Yeah.
row. That feels I, I don't know. I mean I could definitely see it happening because you're right. That defense is so bad. That offensive line is so bad. They start slow every season. So I just man, that would be crazy if Joe Burrow missed the playoffs 3 straight seasons in a row.
Yeah. I don't want them to, but that's just what I'm going with as of now. So that's our AFC North. Okay, getting to the AFC South, I'll start us off. This is a weird one, kind of similar to the NFC South. I don't think there's any contenders here. I think the Texans are more of a contender than the Bucks, though maybe. I have the Colts rounding it out at 5-12, Titans in in third at 7-10. So I think they would take a 7-10 finish this year. Jaguars at 8-9 in second. I hope to see them win this division. I want to see them get back to where they were, and then the Texans winning this division at 10-7. So again, nothing too crazy here. Again, I don't think any of these teams are serious threats.
So I have one big difference in this division than you. I have Titans at 5-12, Colts at 7-10. So
Okay.
nothing crazy, just slightly flipped. But I have the Jaguars at 10-7. I think they're going to be a little bit better than you have them predicted. I think this is a big year for Trevor Lawrence, almost his probably his biggest season as a football player in his career. Big prove it year. They brought in Liam Cohen, who I like a lot, and they traded up to get obviously Travis Hunter at the number 2 overall pick. I think that offense could be pretty good. I think Liam Cohen could have them firing on all cylinders by like week 8 once they get that playbook down. The running back situation's a little weird and defense is a little weird, but I think the Jaguars are going to finish 10-7, second in the division, and then Texans at 11-6, one of the best defenses in football.
I hope the Jaguars do that. I do want to see them back into the playoffs. So, Kate, I hope you're right. We'll just have to see. And now we'll get into the AFC West, and Kate, you can lead us off here. This is an interesting one. Let's see if you have a hot take here.
I mean, we'll see. I have the Raiders at 7-10, finishing in fourth. Chargers at 11-6 in third. Broncos at 11-6 in second. And I'm a sucker for the norm. I have the Chiefs at 14-3.
Yeah, we had the same order. I had the Raiders at 6-11, Chargers at 11-6, Broncos at 12-5, Chiefs at 13-4. I can't put anybody above the Chiefs. I feel like every year around this time, we try to make a case for somebody else, or maybe the Chargers or something. I can't do it. I think it's just
People are so bored and so bored and tired of the Chiefs that they try to trick themselves into thinking they won't do it this year, and they do it every year.
yeah. I just don't think it'll happen. So, all right. Well, that's our AFC predictions. We'll get into the AFC side of the bracket before we pick our regular season winners. And so for me, I had the Ravens getting the one seed at 14-3. I think they'll be the best team in the AFC in the regular season. Two seed Chiefs at 13-4. Three seed Bills at 12-5. And the four seed Texans at 10-7. Obviously, the last division winner. I had the Broncos getting the five seed at 12-5, facing the Texans. At the sixth seed, I had the Chargers at 11-6, facing the Bills. So that's three AFC West teams making it for my predictions. And then rounding out the AFC playoffs, I had the Steelers at the 7th seed facing the Chiefs, which, if Rodgers is playing and healthy, I actually would prefer to see them make the playoffs than some other teams, but, we'll just have to see. So, again, one seed Ravens, then I had the Bills and Chargers facing each other, Texans Broncos matchup, and Chiefs Steelers.
I have the Chiefs as my number 1 seed at 14-3. 2 versus 7 seed will be Bills versus Bengals. I do have the Bengals making the playoffs this year. Like I said, I think it would be so crazy if they missed for the third straight season. My 3 versus 6 matchup will be Ravens versus Chargers, and my 4-5 will be Texans versus Broncos. So
Okay,
again,
so
I have Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Texans, Broncos, Chargers, Bengals.
yeah, so we had the same Texans Broncos matchup. Um, okay, who would you rather see? Would you rather see the Bengals make the playoffs or A Rod for one last season with the Steelers?
I think I would rather see the Bengals make it. The Chiefs or the Steelers are so boring to watch. Like we know
Yeah.
what we're going to get out of them. I'd rather see Joe Burrow make it. My biggest thing was, would you rather see the Jaguars or Bengals make it?
Dude, I kind of like the Jaguars, but I'd probably say the Bengals. But either or, the Jaguars, they gave a nice run, like what was it, 2021 to the Chiefs, but
Where
they
they came
lost in
back
week 1.
against the Chargers and then
Yeah.
yeah, battled against the Chiefs.
But we'll see. So, all right. Well, before we break into our playoff predictions, Cade, let's talk a couple our rewards. I don't really have anything. Actually, I do have a couple crazy ones. I'll start off MVP. I have Lamar Jackson. I think is going to get back to. This is nothing. This is not a hot take, obviously. If you listen to our top 10 quarterbacks podcast, we debated the MVP this past year, and I think there's a very realistic chance that Lamar should have gotten it. Honestly, so little props to Eli, but. That would be, what, his third? I'll fact check that. Maybe his fourth. I think it'll be his third. Offensive player of the year, Cade, I'm going with my guy, Nico Collins. If he plays a fully healthy season, I think he could actually erupt for like one of those 1,800-yard seasons. So I'm going a little bold there. Defensive player of the year, I'm going, this is, I just picked Jalen Carter. So I honestly, I couldn't think of anybody. So I just went with the Eagles, and I did the same thing at Coach of the Year as Nick Sirianni. So nothing insane on either of
Dude,
those two.
dude, I really need the viewer to understand that we don't talk about this whatsoever before we hit record. Not even a little bit. I also have Jalen Carter and Nico Collins winning Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Um, yeah, that's crazy. I agree with you. I think Nico Collins could be unbelievable this season if he stays healthy. New coordinator, same quarterback. I mean, yeah, nothing much to say about Nico Collins. Jalen Carter's kind of a bold prediction because he would really have to go into that next tier of like superstar level, which I think he definitely could do. It's just a matter of predicting him to actually do it. My coach of the year also is also Nick Sirianni. I mean, they're the 1 seed again. I don't know how many times they need to keep winning just for them to not give him credit for it. I mean, he wasn't even close this year. I don't even think he finished inside the top 4 in voting, which is crazy. And then what's the defense? What am I missing? What award?
MVP.
Oh, yes, of course. My MVP of the 2025-2026 season will be none other than Patrick Mahomes.
I was, Kate, it's crazy. I almost put Mahomes because if you listen to our top 10 quarterbacks podcast, I'm expecting them to make a little bit of a comeback. Well, Mahomes back to those like MVP numbers. So
Yeah.
if I had Mahomes, that would have been something else, Kate. But
I have I have the Chiefs finishing the 1 seed in the AFC, so that kind of just stays on brand with the Mahomes pick.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's do our playoff predictions. So, Cabe, we'll start with the NFC. We both have the Eagles at the 1 seed. I'll start at the 2-7 seed game, Lions versus Packers. I got the Packers doing it. I think the Packers upset the Lions here. So, obviously, I had the record a little less than you did, Cade, and obviously, I didn't win the division, but I still had them beating out the Lions when it matters most. And then, when it matters most. Then the Rams Niners, I had the Rams beating the Niners. I'm assuming that Stafford's going to be healthy, but that's not really. That's you can't just make that assumption. But I do have the Rams winning that, so I had them winning the division and then beating the Niners again. And then I have the Commanders beating the Buccaneers as in Tampa Bay. So Commanders versus Rams, and then Packers Eagles for the divisional round.
Okay, we'll take it one round at a time, I'm assuming.
Yep.
I have the Eagles as my 1 seed, like we talked about. My 2-7 matchup would be Packers and Commanders. I have the Packers winning that game. My 3-6 would be Bucks Lions. I have Lions winning that. And my 4-5 is 49ers Rams. I have the Rams winning that. So I have the Rams winning, the Lions winning, and the Packers winning.
Okay, so round 2 for me, it'll be Eagles Packers as the 1 seed versus 7 seed for my bracket. Obviously, Eagles they'll play the reseeded team, which would be the Packers here. I do have the Eagles beating the Packers. Obviously the Packers could be a little interesting, and the funny thing is, in my Eagles preseason prediction podcast, that's Should be uploaded around the same time tomorrow. It's already recorded, but it's getting uploaded sometime tomorrow. I actually had them losing their game against the Packers. It's the week coming off their bye week. It's like a Sunday or Monday nighter in Green Bay. I think they might be a little bit rusty, but I think they clear them in the playoffs, especially at home. So I had them beating the Packers, and then I had the Commanders beating the Rams on the road to get a rematch of Eagles-Commanders. I truly think that these are the two teams that are going to make it to the NFC Championship again.
All right, so with my playoff predictions, the way the first round went, I will have Eagles versus Lions and Rams versus Packers. I think the Eagles win against the Lions, even though that should be a pretty good game. I wish they faced each other last year when the Lions were at the peak of their powers. That would have been awesome. I just don't think the Lions really have the coaching firepower right now to get it done against the Eagles, who I think are going to be elite once again. And then my Rams Packers matchup. This is where it could get interesting. I have the Packers winning. I have the Packers going to the NFC Championship game. I really think that Micah Parsons trade makes a huge dent, and I don't think they're going to be nearly as, I don't know, mediocre. I mean, I know they won 11 games last year, but they were kind of average while Jordan Love was kind of battling back from the injury. I just think they're going to be really good this year. So Eagles Packers is my NFC Championship.
Okay. Mine's the Eagles Commanders. Cade, I think we are going to have the same common denominator here. Do we both have the Eagles going to the Super Bowl?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I'm not concerned. I talked about the Commanders a lot. You know, they can have their puny little Week 18 win or whatever it's going to be. In my opinion, what's going to happen this year. But again, we both have the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. And I'll tell you, Katie, could you imagine, dude, if we got to two straight Super Bowls, that would be something else. So, all right. Well, we have the Eagles coming out of the NFC, both of us. Kate, let's get into the AFC. I'll start us off. Ravens are my 1 seed. I have the 2 versus 7 seed being the Chiefs versus Steelers. I have the Chiefs winning that game. Bills Chargers is a 3 seed versus 6 seed. I had the Bills winning that game. And then Texans Broncos. I had the Broncos upsetting the Texans in Houston. So my matchups would be Ravens versus Broncos round 2, which would be 1 seed Ravens versus 5 seed Broncos. And then 2 seed Chiefs versus 3 seed Bills. So we would get another one of those games in Kansas City.
I would sign up for that in a heartbeat. That sounds awesome.
Every
Um,
year.
I know. My 1 seed is the Chiefs, so my 2 versus 7 matchup will be Bills versus Bengals. I have Bills winning that. My 3v6 will be Ravens versus Chargers. I have Ravens winning that. And 4v5 is Texans versus Broncos. I have Broncos winning that. So I have Chiefs, Broncos versus Ravens, Bills. And I have the Chiefs and the Bills being the winners of those two facing off in the AFC Championship game once again.
Chiefs Bills. All right, Chiefs Bills. I had one minor difference because I had the Ravens versus Broncos facing each other. I had the Ravens winning that game, hosting the AFC Championship game too. Bills versus Chiefs in Kansas City. Who's going to do it? I'm going to go with the Bills. Uh,
Oh, every year he does it.
every this is going to be the year. This is going to be it. Bills go to Baltimore to face the Ravens in the AFC Championship. And Cade, I have Lamar earning his first playoff win against Josh Allen, and the Bills going to the Super Bowl. The Ravens versus the Eagles, my same prediction as last year.
Well, I mean, if you keep doing it, eventually it's got to happen.
Maybe.
Maybe not. But I have Chiefs versus Broncos. Like I said, I have Chiefs winning and Ravens Bills. I have Bills winning. So my AFC Championship, Chiefs Bills. Does Josh Allen get over the hump? No, he does not. I have the Chiefs winning again, and we have a buddy that does this every year, and he picks the teams that were in it the year before going into the season. Like no
The
originality, and
heavy
I hate picking.
favorites.
Yeah, I hate picking the Eagles and Chiefs, but the Eagles are not favored to win this year, so it's not that bad. But yeah, they are the two best teams, and I really don't. When it comes to the playoffs, there's not two more teams, that I trust to win a game more than the Chiefs and Eagles.
I agree. I've kind of felt the same way about picking it, but it's what I think is going to happen too. And we both had. Oh, who do you have win the Super Bowl?
I, especially because we're a Philly sports podcast, I think I have the Chiefs winning the Super
Oh
Bowl this
God,
year. I know, dude. It's
I have the
awful.
Eagles. I have the
I,
Eagles. PST Eagles
I,
all the
if
way. Two
anybody
in a
was
row.
listening last year when we did this, I did have the Eagles winning the Super Bowl last year. I was correct. I would have been a rich man if I bet it, especially the year that they had before. this year, I think the Chiefs really do get it done. I think this is like the
No.
fairy tale ending for Travis Kelsey. I don't want it to happen,
All
obviously.
right.
I don't know.
Just stop. Okay. All right. So I have the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Cade, again, we did lack some originality in this episode, but it is what it is. So that's gonna do it. Super Bowl. We'll talk about the Super Bowl one last time. I have Eagles Ravens. Eagles winning it. That would be a heck of a matchup, man. That would be insane. I think the Ravens might have the best roster on paper. I think it's head to head with the Eagles. Maybe it's close. And then Cade has Eagles Chiefs with the Chiefs winning the rematch. That would just be the worst. I can't even
Can you
imagine
imagine if Jalen Hurts made the Super Bowl 3 times in his career?
if he won it twice, dude.
Oh, I know.
Dude, could you
I
imagine
know.
the memes from like outsiders that are not fans of the Chiefs and Eagles seeing that Super Bowl again? It'd be like the world is rioting
I
because
know.
that's Super Bowl. All right, okay, that's gonna do it. Any last thoughts?
No, I mean, it's football time. Let's get it going.
Eagles are back-to-back champions, loading soon. Episode coming probably Wednesday. Eagles versus Cowboys pregame episode, and yeah, we'll go from there. So, all right, Cabe, thank you for joining, and we'll see you guys soon.